I want to welcome everybody to this demonstration. The NAZIYAH case. Circumstantial evidence points more to Shannon than Jarvis. The circumstantial evidence and the motive. And we're going to be going over both of those in this demonstration. Salute to the chat. Salute to my moderators. Salute to the replay gang. Appreciate your membership, Kenyatta. Appreciate your membership to the platform. And if you would like to help us raise our 15 super stickers and super chat goals for this demonstration, just click on the $ symbol. And I would like to let everybody know that Miss Parker is doing just fine. She told me to tell everybody that inquired about how she was doing. She told me to tell you all that she really appreciate for you all checking up on her, and she's looking forward to coming live as soon as she get herself back to normal. The surgery went well. The surgery went well. There was no complications. She was in and out. But we know Miss Parker. Miss Parker gonna probably be going live tomorrow, even though the doctor, told her to relax for a few days, maybe 3 or 4 days. Relax, take some time off, get yourself back together. But like I said, we all know Miss Parker. Miss Parker is probably going to go live on tomorrow. All right. So once again, Miss Parker wants to thank everybody that asked about her. All right. How do y'all feel about this circumstantial evidence? Because in the red rum case without a body, they say that you don't have to have the body, but if it's a motive, if the prosecution established a motive as well as circumstantial evidence. Now, when it comes to the motive, in my opinion, and y'all on the replay gang, y'all can weigh in on this as well. But in my opinion, the motive and the circumstantial evidence, in my opinion, go hand in hand. Just like Shannon's motive to unalive Naziah, her motive would be jealousy, rage. The fact that if I can't have Jarvis all to myself, then for sure you can't have him all to yourself. Now, the circumstantial evidence, in my opinion, it comes with that text message. It comes with those text messages that many of us, and I even believe that even the prosecution knows that it's a strong possibility that Shannon sent some of the messages. So now you got these messages. Okay, so this is what I would present. If I'm the defense, I would present to the judge. I will present to the jury. I would present to the court the simple fact that Shannon was behind most of those text messages. She lied, right? In the very beginning, when they asked Shannon, what type of relationship did Jarvis and Naziah have? Shannon lied and said, should be no more than a niece and an uncle relationship. Stop right there. So now when we go through these text messages that Shannon saw, even if you can't prove that Shannon sent some of the text messages, we know that Shannon saw those text messages. How do we know? She said it. She said it. She said it. She saw those text messages. So When she saw those text messages, that would make any woman, I mean, there are women out there that might try to argue it down and say, no, no, I wouldn't have, got jealous. I wouldn't have, went in a rage. Even if you didn't get jealous, even if you didn't go in a rage, you still would feel some type of way. Any female that would have saw those messages between Jarvis and NAZIYAH, any female, and if that was their niece texting their baby father, any female would feel some type of way. So there's the motive. And in my opinion, the circumstantial evidence is going to be the alleged tablet that she said that she had, the password, the mere fact that she lied again and said that NAZIYAH never came home, and in the circumstantial evidence, you it, it's a it's a it's a claw, whereas though it don't have to be a fact. If any of y'all could look it up right now. When establishing and when proving circumstantial evidence, it doesn't have to be a fact. Because, the court Shannon would be like, well, can you prove it? Can you prove that she came in the house? Can you prove what you're saying? And circumstantial evidence, it don't have to be a fact. So now um, you got this, you got the text messages. And those text messages were very, very graphic and very detailed. Okay, here's another motive. Here's another, and I'm going to say circumstantial evidence, but I'll let you all tell me whether or not what I'm about to say is considered circumstantial evidence. I would say definitely a motive. And when I say about jealousy would be when NAZIYAH told Jarvis to go upstairs and give her some. Once again, a woman reading that text message. Oh, my niece is telling my baby father. My niece is telling my man to come upstairs and sleep with me. There you have it. Now, some might argue, Shank, that ain't circumstantial evidence. That's why I said I'll leave it up to the chat. I'll leave it up to the replay game, whether or not that will fall under circumstantial evidence. Okay, let's go deeper into evidence. All right. Remember, circumstantial evidence is different. Circumstantial evidence is different from evidence. Evidence would be DNA. Evidence would be fingerprints. Evidence would be, let's say, a picture of you and the deceased together minutes before the deceased expires, or a video. That will fall under evidence. But remember when I said circumstantial evidence doesn't have to be a fact. Circumstantial evidence is just uh uh y'all know how I am with my words. Circumstantial evidence is believing that somebody did this. And in this case, I'm not even going to say 9 out of 10 people. I'm going to say 10 out of people, 10 out of 10 people believe that Shannon unalived NAZIYAH. Most people that you talk with, you'll get a few people that you'll talk to that still believes that Jarvis is behind her unaliving. But most people that you talk to, they will tell you they believe Jarvis is a monster. They believe Jarvis is a pedo, but most people will tell you they don't believe Jarvis unalived her. They don't believe that Jarvis is a M word. Just look in the chat, even on a replay game. Most people will agree. So now the you have the duty, and we all gonna play the jury. All of us, let's just play the jury. Replay gang in the chat, let's play the jury. All right. Who, and y'all drop Shannon or Eva Jarvis, who more likely had a motive to unalive NAZIYAH? Jarvis or Shannon? Y'all drop Shannon in the chat or Eva Jarvis. I'll ask the question again, and we all gonna play jury. Who had more of a motive to unalive NAZIYAH? Jarvis or Shannon? The judge, don't get me wrong, and if the judge of this case, if you're watching, it's no disrespect to you, but the judge feels as though Jarvis had a motive because, NAZIYAH was expecting his baby. And so, he wanted to hide it. And in my opinion, that is a good motive. That's a good motive. And he did perform, according to the judge, he performed a back alley mechanic abortion. Well, he tried to, and it just went left. But see, now this is when circumstantial evidence comes into play. The circumstantial evidence would be, if Jarvis did it, why did Annette cover for Jarvis? But now, and I gotta play devil's advocate, before before we saw that video of Porker's birthday party, many of us was believing what Miss Annette said, as far as Jarvis never coming in. But when we saw that video of Porker's birthday party, we saw that Miss Annette is more into Jarvis than she led us to believe. So now we got to put that on the table. We got to put that on the table. Many of us feel like she's covering for many of us feel like she's covering for Shannon. She could be covering for Jarvis. Drop a one if y'all feel like Miss Annette is covering for Jarvis. Appreciate the super chat, Tanya. Tanya says, here listening. Salute Shank mods in chat. Thank you, Shank, for all you do. Appreciate you, Tanya. Cause see, that video of that birthday really opened things up. All along we believing and we thinking that Annette covering for Shannon, she could be covering for Jarvis. It's a strong possibility that she covering for Jarvis. But I still put my money on Shannon having more of a motive than Jarvis. And as crazy as this case is, because you're dealing with a monster. You know what I'm talking about? You're dealing with a monster. However, now we just got to call a spade, because I can't speak for everybody. I won't speak for everybody when I say this, all right? Tanya says, for your information, circumstantial evidence is indirect evidence that suggests a fact or event without directly proving it. And that's pretty much what I said. You just put it in more of a legal term. But now when we get back to Jarvis' situation with NAZIYAH, I've been in a situation a couple times with females, of course, of a female of my age, but I didn't care nothing about the female in that aspect. However, I protected her. I didn't want to see anything bad happen to her. And I'm sure it's some other men out there that been in them type of situations, relationships with women. They ain't really cared too much for the woman, but we still didn't want to see nothing happen to her. And that's basically what I'm, saying in this situation when it came to Naziah. Because notice, y'all, Naziah was comfortable with Jarvis. How do we know? Her text messages. She sent him a text message. I ain't gonna never get out of this hellhole. She sent them a text message about the pads. And the most important message that she sent them of all, she wanted to go and live with him. I'm just saying. Let me drop down to the chat and see what my chat talking about. Tanya says Annette is only concerned about her daughters. Up until I seen that video of that birthday party, Tanya, I would have said the same thing. But I don't know now, Tanya. Hey Girl says Jarvis was disgusting and clearly stayed with an STD. I would have ordered that whole nasty, you know what, to be tested. That would have cleared up all of our speculations. I agree with you. Peaches says Annette covering for Annette. She throw everyone she could under the bus, but the predator she lovely invited into her house. I agree with you, Peaches. Shay says she covering for both, but Shannon has a bigger motive. Jarvis just wanted the baby to disappear. Talana says, I was just getting ready to say that, Shank. Fran says, Annette is covering for Shannon. Annette is framing Jarvis. Well, I tell y'all what, it's all about to come out. Jarvis has been speaking with them people. Jarvis is not going down by himself. Why should he? You know what I mean? Why should he go down by himself? I think anybody in their right mind would, what I'm saying, go ahead and speak up on what they know. I'm just ready for this to get over with. The most important thing is Shannon and them telling the authorities where Naziah's remains are so Naziah can be laid to rest the proper way. What happened, happened. We can't turn back the hands of time. But just go ahead and do the right thing. And in cases like this, you can only do but the right thing. You know, it is what it is. But trying to hold on and not coming up off of the information and especially when you know what you done was wrong. I could see if it was between two women, you know what I mean, and two women got into a cat fight, and but even then, still in that, if if somebody loses their life, the proper thing to do is go ahead and at least give the victim a proper burial. After you give her the proper burial, go ahead and give the victim justice, because it's nobody in the world. Nobody can convince me, and nobody I'm sure can convince any of you all that Naziah deserved to lose her life. When you listen to Marquita, when you listen to uh uh Miss Annette, when you listen to them, they all say the same thing. When you listen to Kiwana and them, Kenya and them, They all say the same thing. NAZIYAH was a good child, even in that video. The video, and I like to broke down in tears when I saw that video when they was in the morning getting ready for school, and that was cussing, and then they had prayer. I was almost in tears when I watched it again the other day because, like I said, you could just see NAZIYAH and you could feel the energy. Like she's standing there, she holding the other two kids' hands, getting ready for prayer. She never let their hands go. You never heard you never heard nobody yelling at NAZIYAH. She had her clothes on right. She had her coat on. She had her coat zipping all the way up. The exact way how she was supposed to left out that house, that's how she was. They never fussed at her. You could tell that she was out of place. And at 12 years old, 13 years old, that's when you start gathering feelings. You get feelings when you're younger. But when you reach 11, 12, 13, that's when the feelings become manifested. And that's why she said to Jarvis, I ain't gonna never get out of this hellhole. That's NAZIYAH. NAZIYAH calling her surroundings a hellhole. So you just looking and you just like I said off the rip, if NAZIYAH was such this nice kid, why did this happen to her? You know? Why did this happen to her? And I want to touch off on Kim Worthy too, y'all. Do you think, do you think that Kim Worthy is biased when it comes to men and women? Do y'all think that she got a thing out for black men? What was my man? And I was just watching the it was on American Greed. What was the mayor Fitzgerald or Fitzpatrick? What was the mayor of Detroit, y'all, that they got for racketeering and all of that? Somebody help me out with the mayor, the black mayor, the man. Was it Fitzgerald or Fitzpatrick? Help me out with his name. I just seen it yesterday, y'all. I was just watching it. Kim Worthy brought him down. Kim Worthy's office, they convicted him. And they spent money. They went to the lengths to get him. So I'm trying to figure out because Fitzpatrick, that's his name. My man Fitzpatrick. She waged war on him. But once again, remember, in the beginning, what did she say? Nobody else will be charged except Jarvis. And she was trying to cover for Annette and Shannon. But the judge read Shannon and Annette, they rights. The judge let them know, y'all failed this child. So I'm trying to figure out Kim Worthy's angle at this. And if y'all can't remember, go back to the Fitzpatrick case. The mayor of Detroit, that was Kim Worthy that prosecuted him. And she was on him, which she was supposed to be. I ain't trying to give him no pass. I don't want nobody to get it twisted and say, well, damn, Shank, he was guilty. Yeah, he was guilty. He was guilty. Guilty as hell. But the point that I'm trying to make is if you're going to hold one accountable, you got to hold them all accountable. If you're going to hold Jarvis accountable, you got to definitely hold Shannon and Miss Annette accountable. Now, when it comes to Marquita, it's a iffy, in my opinion. When it comes to Marquita, it's a iffy. Now, when it plays out, if Marquita knew more than what she was telling us, then hell yeah, Marquita got to be held accountable. but you definitely got to hold Shannon and Miss Annette. It's no way getting around that. That's his name, Kwame Fitzpatrick. Kwame Fitzpatrick was the mayor. He was in federal court, but Kim Worthy prosecuted him. Kim Worthy is the one that investigated him and brought him down. I watched it. I just seen it yesterday. Kim Worthy was on that case. Kim Worthy was on Kwame's Fitzpatrick case. Okay, Fran says Kim hated Kwame because he didn't fool with her. There you go. There you go, Fran. So is it because we all wonder how is Miss Annette? How was Miss Annette able to get away all these years? Who do she know? Is her and Kim Worthy running partners? Well, we know that Kwame Fitzpatrick and Kim wasn't running partners. That's why she done him in. But it seems like her and Miss Annette is running partners. Is running partners. So back to this circumstantial evidence and back to the motive. I'm not going to hold y'all that much longer. I really just wanted to come live just to give everybody an update on Miss Parker, because I know how y'all feel about Miss Parker. Shout out to Miss Parker and her riders. So I'm not going to hold y'all that much longer. Couple more minutes. But once again, Miss Parker, she's doing well. Her surgery went well. She told me to tell everybody, thank you for checking up on her. We got 383 watching with only 117 likes. Y'all know how we do it over here. Get my likes up. Hit that like button. Hit that like button and get my likes up. I'm not hoping, and I'm keeping it 100. I'm praying. I'm praying that Shannon and Miss Annette, I'm praying that they get charged. I'm praying that it is enough evidence. I don't even really want circumstantial evidence with them. I'm praying that it's evidence that can link Shannon and Miss Annette to NAZIYAH's unaliving. Because I'm just like everybody else. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. You know? And once again, a big shout out to all content creators that's covering this case. And I know I be saying her name wrong, and it's just I don't want you to get mad at me, but shout out to MTGV podcast. I be calling the MGTV. Y'all know I mess up a person's name, the pronunciation and all that, but I gotta shout out MTGV podcast. And shout out to all the other content creators. But I gotta send her a special shout out because I always be messing her name up. But like I said, shout out to all of the content creators. We all are doing a fine job. Let's keep the Antoinette go. See what I'm saying? See, I got something for Antoinette. I got something for Antoinette. You just wait 1 minute. Blame it on Antoinette, y'all. Make sure y'all blame this on Antoinette. But I just want to give a big shout out to all of the content creators. Keep covering this case. You know, cover it how you feel as though you should cover it. See, y'all just, I knew y'all was going to start cutting up. I see the funky ass down there. I see Love Jones drop the funky ass. Y'all just won't do right, boy. I can't get y'all to do right. The world would be a lot better place if I could get my rock squad in the chat to do right. Appreciate that super chat, Tanya. Tanya says, thank you, Shank, for bringing to us another great demonstration and bringing us food for thought. I appreciate you, Tanya. Yeah, because I was just sitting back. I was just sitting back trying to figure out what demonstration that I wanted to do. But like I said, let's see, you know, the circumstantial evidence. Maybe it's something I left out, or maybe it's just, maybe I'm way off. Maybe I'm reaching when I mention circumstantial evidence as far as when it comes to Shannon. And if I'm reaching, I'll accept that. I'll accept that. Somebody let me know, yeah, Shank, you reaching. It ain't gonna be able to be no circumstantial evidence when it comes to Shannon. You reaching, Shank. Nah, y'all thank Antoinette. I want y'all to thank Antoinette for throwing them tacos. And I think that was Love Jones for mentioning the funky ass. So I want y'all to thank Love Jones and Antoinette. Appreciate that super sticker, Miss Low Key. And if you will help us reach our goal for this demonstration of 15 super stickers and super chats or super chats, just click on the $ symbol and purchase a super sticker or a super chat. Let me see if I missed a super stick, super chat. Already got that. Make sure I got all my super stick. Damn, y'all. Let me see. No, don't say you sorry, Love Jones. Don't say you sorry now. Love Jones, your funky ass knew exactly what you was doing when you put that in the chat. Somebody says Shank. Damn, y'all. I'm trying. I got another super chat. Hold up, y'all. Appreciate this super sticker, Sue. All right. So, like I said, I'm praying. I'm praying. I'm praying that Jarvis go ahead and do the right thing. Also, with King being home, what direction is King going to go over? Also, I got a demonstration coming up. I want y'all to stay tuned for this demonstration that I got coming up as far as those text messages. The text messages, not the text message, the jail conversation between King and Jarvis. We're gonna chop it up about that jail conversation between King and Jarvis. Hold up, yeah. I think I got another super chat. Hold up. Hold up, y'all. Hold up. There we go. I got you, Nene. Appreciate this super chat, Nene. Nene says, I'm late. We'll catch the replay to appreciate that, Nene. Let's see what else coming my way. And on that note, everybody, I appreciate everybody for pulling up. Salute to the chat. Salute to the replay gang. And I'll see everybody back tomorrow.